Hello, welcome to Global Alliance Education, Training and Development Month. I'm Alexander Mamby Aruan, Program Director of London School Academy Digital and Lecturer of Communication Studies of LSPR Communication and Business Institute. Today I'm going to share about public relations ethics. Ethics in public relations, of course, in the public relations discipline, ethics includes values such as honesty, openness, loyalty, fair-mindedness, respect, integrity. These are all basically values that we should uphold in our life. Of course, we need to be honest, but it doesn't mean that we have to be transparent. Being open is being vulnerable, but it doesn't mean that we are weak. Loyalty, of course, is not about blind loyalty. We need to understand about the good and bad. Fair-minded, of course, we need to be fair towards our surroundings and respect that it should be given. Not only we have to earn it, but we also need to give it. Integrity, when nobody says it, we still need to uphold our honesty. So I think that is integrity. So this definition of public relation ethics goes far beyond the spinning some persuasive message. When people think that values is just a persuasive message, but basically values is actually what makes you become a better person and what makes you to become consistently doing good things. About ethics and morals. So we need to understand the difference between ethics, morals, and personal values. Ethic refers to the good or bad and the right or wrong. But this is much more into the professional practitioners. Morals is basically, it comes from probably our parents, our religion, and of course our society. So when we say morals, it accepted the standard what is right and wrong, and all ethical systems are inherently moral. So basically we got it from our parents, our religion, and our society. But personal value is contributing highly on how an individual or organizations acts towards something. For example, if a company values family, so they need to activate those values. For example, in the company, if they uphold family values, of course, the maternal leave is not only for the women, but it's also for the father. And in the company, they provided a daycare. Now, that's how you actually activate those personal values. When they say family, it shows that actually they appreciate family. Personal values. Personal values are essential to ethics, and they what a person consider good or bad, or desirable or undesirable. Values create the foundation of personal judgment and actions. That's why I said, when you say ethics, it actually what makes us do good things or even probably make the mistakes of doing bad things. Personal values are what a person's believe to be important. So we need to prioritize our values to help prioritize life's demand and often serve as a compass guide, a decision making, and actually manage our behavior. Yet many people are unable to verbalize the values of those common sense. The suggests absence of values is basically when we say people are very immoral or unethical. People often do recognize the values that guiding their decision. Yet, to establish ethical literacy, public relations professionals need to be familiar with the values that guide their judgment and behavior. Ethical issues in public relations. So, many people perceive public relations as something less than respectable, as clever strategies to convince the public that what is wrong is right. Or some see public relations professionals as manipulators of the public mind rather than to convey the truth. This is the stigma of public relations. Common Pr accusations. So basically, this is the stigma that we have to deal with. They always thought that public relation is withholding information from the public, directly and indirectly paying for independent, objective opinion or views. We are being paid for it. We are biased approach and basically blind loyalty to the company. Distorting to the reality, creating propaganda instead of communications, bailing out and promoting a questionable industrial or organization, manipulating people with mind through social media or through any kind of publications, tweet or publish information that are not truly true or hoax. But this is actually not the practice of public relations. This is not our code of conduct. This is our stigma. Of course, in every industry, there's a good side and a bad side. In this common PR accusations, we call these people who actually practice these things are spin doctors. They actually fabricate the facts. They actually manipulate the people. So this is the bad practice of public relations. This is the dark side of public relations. So we need to avoid these things. So, because as a public relations, we have obligations. We have obligation towards three stakeholders. First, to our organizations. Of course, we are in the organization's spot, but to represent the organization in a favorable image and reputation. And we need to understand, image and reputation, image we created, but reputation, we earn it. Earning trust and building understanding among public is not easy, and it's never in the period short of time. We need process, we need consistency in activating our values. And we also have obligation to the public. We need to convey clear and concise message to give a peace of mind regarding any kind of issue or problem. So we need to understand when we're dealing with the public, we need to give them the truth, the fact, and of course, we need to highlight empathy in dealing with the public. And of course, the last obligation is to our professionals. For the PR practitioners, we need to put effort to be a good examples and practice to maintain good image of our professionalism. So the organization, for example, in Indonesia, we have Perhumas. So basically, they develop the code of conduct for a better PR practitioners. How we are handling ethics and how we're going to handle issues. So handling PR ethics issues. Entrance 4 types of frames. We need to define a specific problem. Diagnose and cause of the problem. Make and see the moral judgment how to deal with it. And the last one, suggest a remedy to actually solve the problem. So in here, our work is much more close to a doctor rather than a lawyer. Because first, we need to diagnose and give what kind of medication to actually heal it. Ethical in digital public relations. There are 4 steps. Technology creates another challenge in PR practice, especially when identifying and addressing the publics, because we know it's real time. With arbitrary meaning of message, public relation practitioners are required to construct as clear as possible. We need to understand, and sometimes in digital public relations, we need to create what we call a micro message. It should be short, but it should be clear. Third, certain research, preparations, planning, appropriate executions are the keys in surviving in digital PR. Preparations, and preparations. Avoid deception, as the audience in digital public relations are scattered and are very vulnerable to multiple interpretation and judgment because they're being overexposed by information. So they need to choose which one is the correct one and which one is basically according to facts. Being sincere versus for the sake of publicity. So please click the link. I'm going to share you the link. So this is actually a study case for when people doing a CSR or any kind of donations, people, when they're doing donations, when they're very sincere, they do it behind camera. Without any camera, they're still doing it. But some are just doing it for the sake of publicity. They're helping people, but they're actually focusing on the publicity. What clothes they are wearing when they are giving the donation, and actually what kind of people who are going to receive their donations. Sometimes when they're giving donations, they're in a higher position, and the one who receives it is below them, and this is how they give it. So, in terms of helping people, that's not how you help people. So, make sure in your publicity or in your publication that you actually highlighted what can you do to have the impact of making someone's lives better. Not when you're actually doing it and just for the sake of publicity, you're just going to take any kind of documentations. So, there's a thin line in the code of conduct by being sincere or doing it just for the sake of publicity. Thank you for listening to my material. I hope it may give you some insight and hope to see you in my next material. I'm Mamby Aruan, signing off.